Hey guys, Necro here with a review of Warhammer 40,000 Darktide. Before we get into it, go ahead and press the like button with me. First of all, I have to say that this is my first time playing any kind of Warhammer 40,000 game, so I'm excited to give my review on it with a fresh set of eyes. Initial impressions of the game were promising. What I saw from the trailers gave me the idea that this was going to be a Doom Eternal clone. Hordes of enemies that you're just hacking and slashing through, plenty of blood and gore every single heart-pounding moment. Well, I was somewhat right. Warhammer 40,000 Darktide is more like a Left 4 Dead style of game. You and 3 other players, or bots, play through a series of short levels where you fight through waves of enemies, get loot, complete objectives, and fight the occasional boss here and there. It's a tried and true gaming style that, frankly, I enjoy. The problems with games like these are when you implement a leveling and progression system, because if you don't balance that out, then you'll run into the infamous grind. I can't say I've played enough to find the grind, which is good. There is a lot going on visually. I'm new to the Warhammer universe, but I can tell that the studio and the devs took great care in the art design and graphics. There isn't too much going on with the graphics to confuse you and lose you, but just enough to let you know that it's still there. Enemies and pathways are easily recognizable, and the color palettes keep the assets compartmentalized so you know exactly where to shoot or run when you know what is hitting the fan. Sometimes I have to sit back and just take in the landscape around me and think of all the hard work that went into the visuals of the game. The audio isn't anything to scoff at either. The levels and sound effects are balanced quite nicely, with nothing too loud or too quiet, either during the quiet parts or the loud parts. The only problem I had was that the awesome soundtrack wasn't more in the forefront of the game, compared to something like, say, Doom Eternal. There were some parts this epic church organ would kick in, and it would make you feel like you were about to fight an epic boss or come face to face with a space god. But nope, it would just pop in and out whenever it felt like. When you first start the game, you're going to have to make a character first. You'll pick from one of 4 classes, which is pretty standard. Choose a name and then customize your character. The customization is simple enough to make it short, but also diverse enough to make your character unique enough to your choosing. Don't worry, it's not like you're going to be making a Fallout character or anything. You'll have to choose things like your origin, which planet you came from, why you got arrested, things that really have no impact on the game. I'm sure these things were added for the hardcore Warhammer 40,000 lore fans. After you make your character, you'll get to start playing, right? Wrong. You get to play the tutorial. Okay. Not bad, seeing as how you might need to learn how to play. Get the basics down, learn the controls, watch a couple cutscenes, then we get to play, right? Nope. Wrong again. Now we have to do the training, which for some reason needs to teach you even more about the game. Things they didn't teach you in the tutorial for some weird reason. And then after basic training, the game recommends you do the advanced training, to which I actually obliged until the game crashed on me. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention? This game crashes a lot, and I mean a lot. I averaged to crash about every 30 minutes. Thankfully, they added a reconnect feature so you can connect back to your game session when you reload. I'm sure because there are so many crashes, but even then, you're rolling the dice. Half the time when you try to reconnect to the game session, the game crashes again. It got so bad that I just quit trying to reconnect so I could jump back in the game and start a new lobby. But once you get past all the tutorials and hopefully all the game crashes, Darktide's actually a really fun game. The early levels are easy enough to get you going, and the difficulty scales really nicely. I only found myself dying a few times in the harder levels, sometimes from learning things the hard way and mostly because the lobby was full of a bunch of noobs. Also, the bots are trash. AI characters on your squad are really only good for distracting the enemies long enough for you to mow them down. If you start the game with 3 bots, you better hope to God some actual players join, or else you're going to have a hard time. I think this game deserves a 7 out of 10. It's a great game with lots of Warhammer pizzazz, but I can see the game getting a little stale after a while, especially if you're playing by yourself and not with friends. Well, that's my review, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.